On this episode of Arts Weekly, I'm speaking with Andrew Constantine from the Fort Wayne Philharmonic.
List of 30 composers, name 10 that you would like to hear. We'll take those 10 and we'll start putting sample programs together. Then we'll have a next stage of voting and we'll say, okay, here are some symphonies by these composers, tell us which ones you'd like to hear.
This is Arts Weekly.
Arts Weekly is a production of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design. IPFW, the energy of arts.
Hello, I'm Chuck O'Connor, and this is Arts Weekly. Joining me is Andrew Constantine, Music Director of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. Andrew, congratulations on your first inaugural season, or your only inaugural season, I think. Good to have you back, but we're here to talk about next season.
That's right. Thanks very much, Chuck, and thanks for being so supportive of the Philharmonic this last year. It's been a great help to us, knowing that we can always trust you to get our message out there. The season that's coming up is one that I'm really excited about. As you know, our main product is the Masterworks concerts that take place at the Embassy Theatre. We have 8 of those in our main subscription series, and it's a huge place to fill, something like 2,600 seats. I'm thrilled, though, that this year we've had something like a 12% increase in our attendance for those concerts. So
Wonderful.
We're obviously going in the right direction. And the season we have planned for everybody is as thrilling as I think we could make it on the back of that.
Well, you open up on September 10th with a concerto for timpanis. Now, we don't get a chance to feature our timpanists too often, but that's a piece by Philip Glass. And tell us a little bit about the opening night on September 10th.
Well, the Philip Glass is one of the pieces on the program. We also have a symphony by Mahler, his 4th symphony, which is one of the really easy listening Mahler symphonies, if you like. It's very light, it's very beautiful, very gorgeous all the way through. And we start the program with a piece by Bach, the Toccata and Fugue in D minor. That's a bit of a mouthful of a title, but people know that because it was rewritten by the conductor Stokowski for orchestra, and it featured in the movie Fantasia. So people will be very
it's
well
a famous
attuned to that.
piece. It's
a very famous piece. And then the Glass that you're alluding to, Philip Glass is one of the most popular contemporary composers, written lots and lots of movie scores, and is known for sort of minimalist music, as it's called, these highly repetitive fragments of melodies and insidious sort of rhythms that get stuck in your head and become irresistible in a very short space of time. And of course, a concerto for timpani is something that's incredibly rare, and he wrote this piece for 2 timpanists. On stage, they have, I can't remember how many it is, 15, 16, 18 timpani, these great big drums, and they're all over the place. And it's like a pair of dueling timpanists, and it's quite a spectacle. It's another example, if you like, of sort of musical theatre as much as genuine music in the concert hall.
That sounds absolutely spectacular.
It is truly spectacular, and it's a real audience pleaser as well.
Great way to open up the season. You follow that with a program called Early Spring. That's going to be on October 1st, which kind of confused me at first.
It's very early spring, isn't it? Somebody in the office said that the other day as well. Why do you call it early spring? Schumann's Symphony No. 1, he called it Spring Symphony, and that's really the only spring-like inference in the program. But you see, you're looking at it, so it served its purpose.
Yes.
A concert in October is called Early Spring. What are these people talking about? They're idiots.
But you're bringing in a guest violinist, Jonathan Carney.
Yeah, he's my best friend. I've got a full disclosure here.
So he owes you one or two. Or you owe him. I don't know. It's one way or the other.
We're good friends. We've done lots of work together. Actually, John came here last year to work with the chamber orchestra in the signature series, and he directed a concert. He's also doing that later this new season as well. He's going to be playing the violin concerto by Korngold. It might not be a familiar name to people, but Erich Korngold was a movie composer in the 30s and 40s, Hollywood. Big, luscious soundtracks. So you know the sort of swashbuckling type of music. He could
Lots
he
of
could write.
strings. And
Yeah. All of that. It's very rich. It's very romantic, and he wrote lots of pirate movie scores and Captain
that
Blood.
should be
and
really
things like
fun
this.
to hear.
It's great. It's a gorgeous piece. And last season we played the Barber Violin Concerto, which is again very romantic, very lush. And this is very similar to that. I've done this piece with John before, and he's an incredible exponent of the violin. A very inspiring musician to be around, which is another reason why I want the orchestra to work with him, and a totally committed performer, and people just love that. And if they don't know that, they'll certainly know the first piece, which is Rossini's William Tell Overture, otherwise known as the Lone Ranger.
yes, yes.
Yeah, don't sing, please, Jack. You do a
wait.
great job until you start trying to sing.
I'm just trying to work my way into the orchestra, Andrew. and
Okay,
I'll sing
there isn't a
off
vacancy,
camera.
but there we are.
You know, one of the reasons why we're talking about this now, even though the Philharmonic doesn't open until the fall, is that season subscriptions tickets are on sale, and you can save a good amount of money. I think about 25% if you buy tickets early over the summer.
There is
correct?
such a variety of offers out there for people who want to be subscribers to the Philharmonic, and that really is the best way you can support this great orchestra, so that we're able to plan with more confidence, if you like, of the way ahead, the season ahead.
Right, and I want to remind our viewers that they can call 481-0777 or go to fwphil.org to learn more about buying season subscriptions. And another thing that's kind of interesting about the season subscription tickets is that you can exchange them. If you know, some people are worried, hey, you know what, I can't commit. It's still July, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing in February. You could always turn them in and exchange them for another concert.
That's
correct?
right. There's a very flexible exchange policy, and we do find that works to everybody's advantage. At the end of the day, it gets people more interested in making that commitment, knowing that they can swap out for other concerts, or they can pass those tickets on to friends and family who might not have been to the Philharmonic, to give them an experience of what we have.
So you really can't lose for that price. On November 5th, you're bringing in Jason Vio, the guitarist, who's going to be playing a fabulous, very famous piece, Rodrigo's.
Go on, you pronounce it, not me.
Concierto de Aranjuez.
Okay. He's going to play Rodrigo's guitar concerto. I can't even say Rodrigo after following that. Jason is, I think, the finest classical guitarist around at the moment. And the Rodrigo is the piece that everybody knows for guitar and orchestra. It has a central movement to it that has turned up in so many soundtracks, commercials, everything. It's one of those haunting melodies that as soon as you hear it, you think, oh my goodness, this
People
is
will know it.
Yeah, and he's a great character. I did this piece with him just a few months ago at my other orchestra in Reading, in Pennsylvania. And we also have works on the program by Sibelius, a new piece by the composer Osvaldo Golijov called Siderius, and Jason is going to play another guitar concerto as well.
Oh wow, that's I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's very enthusiastic about presenting new repertoire for the guitar, so that he can get beyond just being asked to play the Rodrigo all the time. And we went to him when he said he wanted to play something else. We said, that's great, but you know, our budgets are limited. We can't offer you a bigger fee. That's okay, I'll do it. So
that's special.
2 for the price of 1.
And you know, a lot of people don't realize that the guitar was not considered an orchestral instrument up to a certain point in time, but now we're beginning to hear it more with the orchestra. And do they mic the guitar, or what do they need to do to make it?
What guitarists do, soloists come along with their own little amplification kit. It can be either a pickup on the instrument or a microphone in front, and they'll have a little amplifying speaker with them. So it's amplified at source, and the reproduction is there. It doesn't go into a house system or anything like that. That would sound a little ridiculous, but it's very subtle, and it makes it look as though and sound as though it comes directly from the instrument.
And it's really, really beautiful. And you know, saying with Segovia in the 20th century, I think really helped bring that
was
to
the guy,
fore.
the Spanish guitarist Andres Segovia,
who also played this piece, I'm told.
Oh,
so a very famous piece. Well, moving on, we have True Brits. We have all British composers going to be featured.
Why is that?
I was wondering, but actually I take it that some of these are your favorite, Ray Vaughan Williams and Elgar. That's going to be on January 14th, 2012 already.
Is that what it is? My goodness.
Yes.
True Brits, what am I doing? What is this guy being allowed to get up to programming?
Do you get to play the things you like? I mean, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that the deal? Isn't that why I'm here, being music director?
That's what I think.
Elgar's my favorite composer, and this big piece that we end the concert with is called In the South, subtitled Alassio, which is the place that Elgar was on vacation in Italy, and it inspired him to write this piece. And it's a breathtaking piece of orchestration. The composer Richard Strauss, when he heard this piece, said that Elgar was the master of orchestration, all this stuff. Great fun to play, wonderful to conduct, and very thrilling to listen to. As a complete contrast to that, we have a piece by Vaughan Williams called The Fantasia on a theme of Thomas Tallis. And Tallis was an Elizabethan composer, and Vaughan Williams took this chant melody and rewrote it, rearranged it for a string orchestra, and it creates some incredible cathedral-like sounds for strings. It's a very intense, very evocative, very moving piece. It's not a similar intensity to the Barber Adagio, but it has the same sort of effect on you. It really reaches the depths of
very emotional and moody,
yes.
and Ray Vaughan Williams, just for me, really epitomizes the British landscape.
Well, that's exactly what he was about, and this piece captures all of that absolutely perfectly.
And he really took old English melodies and folk songs, as I understand it, and
that was part of his mission.
Them, yeah.
That period, the early 20th century, end of the 19th century, lots of composers in Britain and around Europe, they actively went out into the countryside to write down these folk tunes and melodies, try to preserve them for posterity, rather than just get lost as society changed and people moved away from that type of lifestyle.
It's beautiful music. One of the interesting features of the Philharmonic are a way for people who perhaps don't know a lot about classical music yet and want to learn more, is you actually feature lectures before every concert called Musically Speaking. The concerts start, at least the Masterworks concerts start at 8 o'clock at the Embassy, but you can get there at 7 o'clock, and there'll be somebody to tell you a little bit about the evening's performance and what they should expect. And that's, I think, interesting for our viewers to know as well.
Well, you called it a lecture, and I suppose in the brochure we call it a lecture as well. It's anything other than an erudite experience, though. We just go along, we have a bit of a chat, oftentimes with a soloist, or if we are able to get one of the contemporary composers in town, they can come and make a contribution. I just talk about the music as I understand it, as people are going to hear it that night. I try to give them a few pointers of things to look out for. I give them a few anecdotes about other times I've performed that piece, or other experiences other musicians have had with it, and try to be light-hearted about it, not try to be too serious and pontificate and try and be...
But explain. So I think it's a very nice feature.
Draw people in so they feel as though they have a little greater, they have a greater understanding of the music they're about to hear, and they feel more comfortable with the whole experience.
And that's at the Grand Wayne Center, just as you're walking into the Embassy. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be back in a minute with Andrew Constantine from the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. Welcome back to Arts Weekly. We're here talking with Andrew Constantine from the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. The Philharmonic's going to be doing something new this year, an audience choice concert. Tell us a little bit about that. That's going to be on March 3rd.
Yeah, this is really scary. This is all my idea, and it's, as you can imagine, a promoter's nightmare, because we're selling tickets to something that we don't actually know what we're going to be playing. However, the really inspiring thing about this is that we're going to canvass the whole of the population of Fort Wayne and beyond in this region. And first of all, we're going to say to people, here's a list of composers. Tell us who your favorite 10 are. We haven't quite fine-tuned it yet, but something like that. I'll give you a list of 30 composers. Name 10 that you would like to hear. We'll take those 10 and we'll start putting sample programs together. Then we'll have a next stage of voting, and we'll say, okay, here are some symphonies by these composers. Tell us which ones you'd like to hear. And we'll go on like that until by about Christmas time of this year, we'll have formed what the program is going to look like. And people will have the opportunity to vote either in writing, in person, online at our website. We'll probably come up with some other formats as well. But people aren't going to be limited to just one vote. You can vote as many times as you like.
As they say, vote early and vote often.
Yeah, there's nothing democratic about this. Just keep voting.
Well, you know, to learn more about this, you can go to fwphil.org. You could also call the Philharmonic at 481-0777 for more information about voting for your favorite piece to be performed by the Philharmonic or about season subscriptions. Moving on, there are 8 masterwork concerts, but we're going to kind of skip to the end. Not that there aren't really, really good ones all in between, but for the sake of time, we're talking about the final concert, which is going to be on May 12th. It's called In the End Is My Beginning, and you're going to have the Philharmonic Chorus join the Philharmonic, playing Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Very, very appropriate, I think, for that time of year.
Yeah. Well, as you'll see from the program, and the quirky title, I love quirky titles. In the End Is My Beginning was one of Elgar's mottos. And the way I kind of twisted this here is that we're starting with Beethoven's overture, The Creatures of Prometheus, and then we're going to Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, and we're ending up with a Mozart Requiem. So you have within one evening music which is supposed to represent the very beginnings of creation, and then the dawn of time, beginning of the earth, all of this stuff. And it goes full cycle through life, death, transfiguration.
Wow, that sounds like a very special programming.
Yeah.
Very, and of course, Rite to Spring is one of the most famous pieces of the 20th century. It really helped to change the course of 20th century music by Stravinsky.
That's true.
Correct.
Have you noticed the Disney connection there? I've bookended the whole season with Disney.
Fantasia all over
we got
the place.
Fantasia at the beginning and the end. Yeah.
So watch the movie before you come to the season. But we're going to talk a little bit about the pop season, which is a very popular, obviously popular music series that the Philharmonic does every year. Playing more popular music. You're going to start with Broadway Rocks on September 17th. It's going to be the music of different Jesus Christ Superstar, Tommy, you name it, all kinds of Broadway musicals that have a rock theme to them.
It's wonderful, I think, that we're able to have different series here with greater variety all the time at the Philharmonic, because we want to really be catering to as many different tastes as we can in the community and show that music speaks across all sorts of boundaries, borders, whatever you want to say. And our Sweetwater Pop series is very popular with a lot of people here in the town. And Broadway Rocks is going to be a great example of just that sort of ethos, really. And we'll be playing music from shows such as Wicked, Jesus Christ Superstar, Tommy, Phantom of the Opera, Hairspray, and loads more.
Who couldn't love all that? And following that on October 29th, the music of the Police, Sting and the Gang, orchestrated.
Sting's not coming.
Well, but he's the guy who I think wrote the music. But you're going to have somebody who's going to kind of take the place of Sting.
That's right. That's going
like
to be another great evening. The music of Sting and the Police, and I know that's going to be very popular. I'm also doing that show somewhere else at New Year this year. So there's another.
Well, there you go. I love the Police, and
Sting is a good Geordie lad, as we say. He's from the same part of the UK as I am, and supports the right soccer team and everything. So he's
that's important.
Even better.
That's important in that part of the world. I understand.
Yeah.
And he also has played with orchestras and has recorded with orchestras as well.
Gifted musician.
So maybe you could talk him into showing up. We'll see.
I'll try.
Home for the Holidays, which is going. Everybody knows that the Philharmonic is really big during the holiday season, and December 9th through the 17th, you guys are going to feature some of our most famous Christmas music that comes as part of the pop series as well.
And Bradley Thatchuk will be back to conduct that, our long-term associate conductor who's leaving us now to take up his post as music director at the Niagara Symphony in Canada. He's going to be coming back to do holiday pops.
And you're going to let him back? You're going to let him back in the door after leaving us like that.
Of course. Well, hey, he's a great guy and a fine conductor.
He is, and he does a great job. He's very, very energetic. Bernadette Peters, the Broadway star, Tony Award winner, multiple Broadway shows, is coming in February, which should be very, very exciting. She's probably going to be singing some of the songs that she sings well from Broadway tunes.
I do hope so. Don't know what else she's going to do. Does she juggle or anything else, Chuck?
I don't know, but I'm going to that one.
Well, there's quite a buzz in the office as well when her name was suggested as an act for this season. So people are thrilled there about her coming, and I'm sure that Fort Wayne is going to be equally thrilled.
Absolutely. Cirque de la Symphonie, encore performance. You're going to be conducting that. That's also part of the pop series. It's going to be on March 30th. Did this a few years ago. Cirque du Soleil music. Tell us a little bit about this concert.
Well, this is a group of characters who are strong men, jugglers, acrobats, contortionists, you name it.
Amazing to see.
Amazing circus feats, and I love conducting them because it's a real thrill for me to be conducting this stuff and watching these guys flying around and whatever else they do. We're also doing that as one of our family concerts as well, so there'll be 3 performances with that group over that weekend. It was so popular last time, we just had to bring them back.
Yes, it was. I went through that night. It was just absolutely packed, and these guys are truly extraordinary. You can't believe human beings can get themselves in those positions and
survive.
And survive, yeah, exactly. And they don't fall. They don't fall on you guys. No. It's too bad you don't get a chance. Maybe you're kind of facing the wrong way, I noticed. If you're,
it's interesting, you know, because with the contortionist, whenever she's performing, and I'm standing conducting, I'm facing away, I hear ooh, ooh, and I turn around for that, and every now and again. And I think best not to look. I don't want to look. What's she doing now?
You keep your eye on the cover. Big Band Voodoo Daddy, which is going to be, I think, the final pop series, which is going to be big band music. For those people who love big band, here's your chance to hear that.
That's going to be high energy all night.
Yeah, hear it played by the Philharmonic. Moving on to yet another series that the Philharmonic does, and now we're moving really out of the Embassy Theater, and all year long the Philharmonic also performs at the Arts United Center with the Signature Series.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the different ways that that's presented and what you have coming up with the Signature Series.
Okay, well the Signature Series really has 3 components to it. We have Friday evenings, which are our casual concerts, as we call them, and we have this lovely get-together before the concert event, when we have food, wine, other drinks.
About 6 o'clock in the evening?
6 o'clock, that's right. And then the concert begins at 7. It lasts about 60 or 70 minutes. And it's much more relaxed, much less high maintenance than an evening out at a grand concert.
And it ends kind of early as well.
Yeah. And people have still got time to go off and do other things, come from work and just relax, just chill out there. And we present the works that we then perform on Sunday in our Connoisseur series, the afternoon series, which is more conventional, more traditional. But we do it in a more contained format. We don't necessarily play all the movements from the symphony or whatever else. And we talk a little more freely about what we're playing and do interviews with musicians and show videos about the performance, things like that.
And this is the chamber orchestra. This is the core orchestra that plays at the Arts United Center. And it's, you open on September 25th. You have Sandra Stimson, who's the oboist.
Yes, Sandy, our principal oboist, is going to be playing a lovely piece by a composer called Tyson Street. And we have a guest conductor coming in. My friend John Carney is coming back again to direct from the violin.
Wow.
And then I hope I get to conduct another one at some stage. I can't quite remember, but there's a lot of artistic activity going on there. And the third component of the Signature Series is our choral series. And they take place at the First Wayne Street United Methodist Church.
Great acoustics.
Venue. Wonderful acoustics, and those events have been sold out all season, and the chorus have their own mini-series there. We're going to be doing a night at the opera. And Robert Nance, their music director, is going to be conducting another concert with Haydn's Nelson Mass in it. And then, of course, they're joining us for Mozart's Requiem at the Embassy at the end of the year. So the chorus is growing and very active as well.
Well, speaking of Mozart, the very last Signature Series concert, there's 4 of them. You have Mozart Revealed, which I think is sort of it's a sort of follow-up on the success this year of Beethoven Revealed. It's going to be produced by Gregory Stieber, correct?
Yes, this is totally an in-house production, and we're really proud of this growing series and very excited about Mozart Revealed. For those people who didn't see Beethoven Revealed, what that was a first half of the concert where we perform little bits of orchestral music, chamber music, instrumental music, and it links in perfectly with dramatic interludes where we have actors reliving.
So it's a little bit of theater.
Yeah.
A little bit of theater with music. You learn a little bit about Mozart's life.
That's right. And in the second half, there'll be a performance of something more complete, probably from one of his operas, but we haven't quite worked out the program yet.
And that'll be on April 27th.
Yeah.
You know, if our audience wants to learn more about the season and sort of an extension of what we're talking about right here, there's actually going to be a summer presentation, Evening with the Maestro, at the Reinhardt Music Center here at IPFW on June 22nd, where you're going to really kind of give a more in-depth view, insight into what's going to happen next.
Well, this is something we did last year, of course, to present the season we're in now. And I found that great fun, and we had quite an audience there who got very involved with the music we were discussing for the new year, and we played examples of that, and we showed images from the different composers' lives or pictures to do with those works. And I think it gave a great insight into the music ahead and prepared people to understand it, appreciate it, enjoy it more than they might have done otherwise. And I seem to remember there were some great cookies as well.
There was, yeah, we had cookies afterwards and a little reception, and it was very well attended. So if people want to learn more about the season, more about classical music and the things that the Philharmonic are going to be performing, here's your chance to do it on June 22nd, right here at IPFW. You know, Andrew, we ran out of time. We didn't even have a chance to talk about the Fryman series, which is the small series, the small ensembles
Chamber
that
music,
perform
yeah.
at the
Well, we have so much going on. This is
so
a
much
wonderful
going on.
aspect of Fort Wayne, this great orchestra.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy your summer. We're looking forward to the
Thanks.
new 2011-2012 season, Andrew. It's good to have you here in Fort Wayne, and we'll see you again next year.
I hope so. Thanks, Chuck.
For information about the Fort Wayne Philharmonic and how you can buy tickets for next season, please visit fwphil.org or call 481-0777. This concludes this season of Arts Weekly. You can see us again next fall, starting in September on PBS and College Access Television. Thank you so much for watching Arts Weekly. I'm Chuck O'Connor, and have a nice summer.